All right, here goes page 7. We're going to do Introduction to Troubleshooting. Start by reading. I want you guys to read along as usual. Troubleshooting requires an organized and logical approach to problems with computers and other components. Sometimes issues arise during preventive maintenance. At other times, a customer may contact you with a problem. A logical approach to troubleshooting allows you to eliminate variables and identify causes of problems in a systematic order. Asking the right questions, testing the right hardware, and examining the right data helps you understand the problem and form a proposed solution. So, troubleshooting. You've all done this already. So take your computer's not working, right? You want to go play Dork Night, and you go to try to play it, and it's not loading up. What's the first thing you check at home when you're at home, Elijah? Turn it on. You don't play it on the computer, right?
No.
You play it you have a Xbox. So you and the 7 other people in the country that have Xboxes, when you can't connect, what's the first thing you check if it's not loading up? You check your Wi-Fi. So you're troubleshooting. So you can't connect to the internet. It says internet connection's bad, whatever Xbox says, and then you check that you check maybe that your router was plugged in. Maybe your little sister kicked the cord out. You don't know, but you start troubleshooting, and you take a logical approach to it. You don't start freaking out and like. Here would be an illogical approach. You can't connect to the internet, so you immediately take a screwdriver, open up the hood of your Xbox, and start to play around with the circuits, right? Would that be a little too much? Would that be logical? What's that? No, right? You want to start with some simple things that are common, so you don't go crazy, right? And that's because the next paragraph, that has troubleshooting is a skill that you refine over time. You know not to open up your Xbox like a maniac, because you know that usually when you can't connect to the internet, it's usually something to do with your router, okay, something like that, right? Or the cord fell out, if it's in the LAN, like the little blue cord fell out. Each time you solve or you're having internet problems because your other brother is downloading, is watching, 5 people in your house are watching Netflix at the same time. Each time you solve a problem, you increase your troubleshooting skills by gaining more experience. So every time you solve that connectivity issue, you get better and better at it. You learn how and when to combine steps or skip steps to reach a solution quickly. The troubleshooting process is a guideline that is modified to fit your needs. This section presents an approach to problem solving that can apply to both hardware and software. So the connectivity issue could be hardware, could be software. Usually it's hardware related when you're talking about your Xbox. So something's unplugged, but it could be software. Note the term customer, as used in this case, is any user that requires technical computer assistance. It could be your mom. It could be your little brother in another room who's trying to do his homework and he can't connect. Before you begin troubleshooting problems, always follow the necessary precautions to protect data on a computer. Some repairs, such as replacing a hard drive or reinstalling an operating system, might put the data on the computer at risk. So when we reload an operating system, what are we doing most of the time? We're erasing everything. You don't have to. You could save the data ahead of time. We're using school computers. We're just wiping everything out. We're using kind of like play-around computers. Make sure you do everything possible to prevent data loss while attempting repairs. We don't care if we lose the data on these computers, right? But if you're working on your mom's computer and she has a bunch of photos saved from when you were a little baby, she's going to get a little upset at you if you delete them when you reload Windows, right? Caution: always perform a backup before beginning any troubleshooting procedures. So that's what you're talking about there. Like, you want to make sure that if there's any sensitive data or data that you care about, you want to make sure that's protected before you start putzing around on the computer. You must protect data before beginning any work on a customer's computer. Because what if you do something and they're like, dude, you lost all my data, man? It's going to be not a pleasant conversation. Because you didn't take the necessary steps to prevent it. If your work results in data loss for the customer, you or your company could be held liable. You're like, can you fix my Windows computer? And you're like, yeah, sure. And then you reload Windows, and they're like, dude, where's all my data? And you're like, oh, I didn't know you wanted me to save your data. You needed to ask them. The customer doesn't know that when you load Windows, you can completely wipe out the drive in the process or save data. They don't know that those options are out there. That's your job to explain that to them. It's always better to just save all their data anyway, because they might not even know what they're talking about. They'll be like, oh no, wipe it out, and then later they go, oh no, I didn't know what that meant. So it's better to just save it all to an external drive, hold it for a little bit, just in case they want the data back. It doesn't take that long, and you really don't have to do anything to back up data. It's pretty simple. You can run a backup program, a copy file program. There's a program on Linux called like rsync. You can you can basically image the drive. There's lots of ways you can do it, and when you're doing it while it's backing up, you can do other things. You could go play Dork Knight or whatever Jeremiah plays, Pocket Ball. You can do whatever you want. All right. Data backup. Now they're going to talk about that. A data backup is a copy of the data on a computer hard drive that is saved to another storage device or to cloud storage. So it's just fancy way of saying you can save it to a USB drive, save it to a server here. You're not going to upload it to a cloud probably, and it's going to take a lot. You could be talking like someone could have like 7 gigs of data if you want to save everything, or their hard drive could have like 50 gigs on it, and you could save just the document stuff, but to be safe you could just back up the whole thing. So it's better to have an external drive. Cloud storage is online storage that is accessed via the internet. We all know that, right? In an organization, backups may be performed on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Now they kind of switch gears here, and they're talking about we were talking about saving a customer's data, like someone whose computer you're fixing. Now they're talking about like if you're in charge of an organization like a company, and you're the IT manager, you might set it up where you have to have a backup system in place that's backing up all the users' data. Nowadays, most of that's on the cloud, like we talked about. But back in the day, people used to save stuff to like their computers, or you have it on a on the server in a closet, and you'd have to back up that server, and then send that data off-site in case there was a fire. There was all kinds of things we would do. Nowadays, a lot of it's on what we call cloud. So like if you think about like all your class stuff, think about you guys. Where's it all saved? All your classroom stuff is on like the Google Classroom and your Google Drive and all that nonsense. So basically, that's kind of out of our hands to back up. That's Google that's backing that up. Good luck with all that, which means they have all our data. That's a whole nother story. If you are unsure that a backup has been done, do not attempt any troubleshooting activities until you check with the customer. Here's a list of items to verify with the customer that a backup has been performed. Date of the last backup, contents of the backup, data integrity of the backup, availability of all backup media for a data restore. So I mean, they're basically asking you to ask the customer if they've backed up their stuff. Yeah, that's one approach. If you're talking about like some person who like just came to you, like you're working at Best Buy or something, and somebody comes in, if you ask that person if they did their backup, they're not even going to know half the time. It's going to be something like grandma. They're not going to know. No offense to grandmas, but they're not going to have any idea whether their stuff's been backed up. So it's better to do what? Just do it yourself, right? If a customer does not have a current backup and you are not able to create one, ask the customer to sign a liability release. We did that when we were fixing the phones, remember? Liability release form contains at least the following information. Permission to work on the computer without a current backup available. So this way, if you do something stupid, You're not liable. Release from liability if data is lost or corrupted. Description of the work to be performed. Description might be that I'm going to reload Windows. We will make every attempt to save your data, which you will. But in the case that we fail and data is lost, we are not liable. Get the customer to sign it, something like that, right? Okay. Same thing when we're dealing with phones, right? We're like, oh, I had all these pictures on the phone, and we ended up like going to iTunes and factory resetting it, right? And here's a screen for Windows Update and Recovery, where like if it's not working right, here's some options for recovery. It'll be in the Update and Recovery program. You can find on Windows. You just search for that in like the little search thing. And here's the Recovery tab, and it says like so refresh. There's like you can see there's like 3 options. Refresh your PC without affecting your files. What do you think that does? Yeah, so it theoretically would reload the operating system, right? Operating system files, but not the personal files like photos, music, videos, and other personal files, right? It's only going to affect the Windows folder, essentially. Then there's another option where you can remove everything and reinstall Windows. If you want to recycle your PC or start over completely, you can reset it to its factory settings. What do you think will happen to your data if you do that? If you have Justin Bieber videos in here, right? And selfies, what do you think is going to happen to your data if you choose option 2 right here? It's going to what? It's going to delete it, correct. Advanced startup. Start from a device or disk, such as USB drive or DVD. Change Windows startup settings or restore Windows from a system image. This will restart your PC. So that's the version we do a lot. We take like a USB drive, right, that we've put a Windows image on, or I'm not talking about Linux right now, but you can do the same thing with Linux. We're from an outside source. What do you think that's going to do to your data? It's going to wipe it out, right? It's going to wipe out the data, correct? Okay? So thanks for your attention. I'll see you on the next slide.